Alien is in the Extreme Collection. How does it match up against other Alien pieces? Find out today. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X, and today I have a monster next to me, both figuratively and literally. And I'm really excited for this piece. If you missed the live unboxing yesterday, go ahead and check it out right here first. You're gonna get to see how it goes together, you're gonna get to see the boxes, and most importantly, you're gonna get to see something that I'm really ashamed of. I did something during that live unboxing I thought I'd never do. And not only did I do it, but I kind of enjoyed it. So if you caught it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, go catch that first, and then you can catch up with us here. But for those of you that have already seen it, or that just aren't going to go check that out anyway, this is officially XM Studios Supreme Scale Alien Warrior. We're going to talk about what all that means. We're going to talk about this piece. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about the price, where I got it from, where it's going in the collection, why I bought it. We're going to do an extreme review using the extreme scale. Check it out right here. It's a 1 through 5 scale. T on the far left is a 1. X on the far right is a 5. Now, if you're looking at this thing and you're like, my God, that is freaking cool, go ahead and hit that subscribe bell notification, because not only do we have cool crap like this coming in all the time, but there's daily content of videos related to collecting and other cool stuff. And in a few weeks, we're doing a huge giveaway that the entries are already closed, but we're announcing another huge giveaway where you can win plane tickets. So go ahead and hit that subscribe and bell notification. So this is from XM Studios, which is a statue manufacturing company based out of Singapore, and they traditionally do comic book pieces. So everyone's really anticipating how good is this piece going to be, because aliens really isn't their forte. Although recently they did this Predator piece. And what's interesting is this Predator piece is also what they call Supreme Scale. Now, Supreme Scale, we're assuming, is XM Studios' fancy word to say 1/3 scale, meaning 3 times smaller than it should be in real life. Kind of like Sideshow Collectibles says premium format for a fancy way to say 1/4. So he's 3 times smaller than what he would be in real life. And he costs 2,199 Singapore dollars, which is about 1,600 or 1,700 US dollars. Plus, I paid, I think, 600 shipping for the large boxes. You can check out in the live unboxing I referenced. Now, if you're in the United States, XM Studios doesn't carry the license for all the different pieces, traditionally only for DC Comics. So if you want Marvel or Aliens or Predator, you have to use a third-party distributor. My favorite is Spec Fiction, and I'm telling you that because I get a kickback when I say that. When I talk about how much I love Spec Fiction and how much they take care of me, in return, I get great customer service from them. That's right. I pay the same price you guys do for shipping. I pay the same price for the statues. I'm not an affiliate, but Spec Fiction is where I order more than 50% of my XM Studios stuff from. The reason why I don't do 100% is because there are also some other great retailers out there as well. But Spec Fiction is who I recommend the most. I did get a free shirt from him, but you can get one too if you just ask. Ironically, I kind of became friends with the owner, although I still question he might just be my friend because I buy so much from him. Is that true, Todd? Oh, this is uncomfortable. Now, what's interesting is they only made 200 of these pieces. So when we get to the part where we talk about value in the review, I assume that's going to be pretty high. 200 is an extremely low edition size. They used to do 1,000 of every piece. Now they do what's called made to order. So they open a pre-order window for 4 to 8 weeks, and then however many they sell, that's what the edition size is going to be, which I love, and I'm ecstatic that I have this. And I bought it because I love Aliens. They're some of the best movies of my childhood, and even nowadays. I'm not a fan of a lot of the new ones, but I love the creature itself, the whole Geiger concept, and it's the stuff that nightmares are made of, you know, transitioned into semi-reality. And I have a big Aliens and Predator display because they go hand in hand to me a little bit, not only because of the crossover movies, but just two very cool killing creatures. So at the end of this, you're going to see him with some of those other pieces. Now, I'm also going to put some links at the end of this video to some other Alien statues I've reviewed, because right now Aliens is the big thing. Prime One Studios, Sideshow's been putting out Alien pieces for years. There's a bunch of custom stuff coming out. and it's kind of this race, so let's see who's going to win. Now what's interesting is, I talk about how much I love the Aliens movies. This is not from the movies, even though it kind of looks like it is, doesn't it? This is not from the comics either. This is their own interpretation. So they sat in a room and decided, hey, this is what our creature is going to look like. They got it signed off by whoever the licensing entity is for this. I don't know. But kind of an interesting twist, even though a lot of elements are similar to the comics and the movies. We're actually going to look at that when we talk about concept. Right now in the comments, go ahead and throw your favorite Alien movie below. What's your absolute favorite Alien movie, whether it's a crossover movie or one of the newer ones or one of the older ones? Mine is Aliens, Alien 2 with Bill Paxton. Let's jump into concept first. And concept, when we talk about that, we talk about, is it cool? Does it flow? Does it make sense? Now keep in mind, this is very unique with this piece because it's their own idea, their own concept. So we don't know if it was incorrect or whatever. Starting at this base here, it looks like a miniature version of a spaceship or Nostromo. Now, it's not from the movie, so obviously it's not that, but it could be, part of their base or their hive. It's hard to tell, and they did some interesting stuff with the colors we're going to talk about when we get to paint. And there's some aliens coming out of it. This is actually kind of a diorama. There's 1.5 aliens. And what's funny is the one on top is stepping on the bottom's head, kind of like they're ants just crawling all over the place, which actually reminds me of one of the scenes we're going to look at in a second from the movie Aliens. And they're in an attack position. They're coming out to kill, to maim, to eat, whatever it is that they do. It's pretty badass. It's an extremely dynamic pose, which we're going to talk about a lot when we get to the design, because there's some advanced engineering in here. So personally, I'm a big fan of this concept, mainly because it's different. It incorporates so much different stuff. It really reminds me of one of my favorite scenes right here.
7. 6.
Can't be, that's inside the room.
It's reading right, man, look.
Well, you're not reading it right.
Oh my God.
Oh, give me the light.
And I think it really emphasizes that the aliens are just mindless creatures that are crawling all over each other, ready to kill, ready to do whatever it takes. Some people aren't fans. You don't see the lower half of this alien body, and that's more of a design thing. But I think it's great. I think the concept is an X. I think it's unique. It's done well. This statue really gets your attention. Next, we're going to talk about design. When we talk about design, we talk about displayability, we talk about switch outs, we talk about size, seam lines, engineering issues. So first off, the base was extremely heavy and the top body is very light, so that's very smart when it comes to engineering. The pegs aren't even that long in the feet because I think they're not too worried about it tipping over. So that was very smart. As you may or may not have seen in the unboxing yesterday, there was about 30 or 40 pieces to this. And I think it was the engineering cuts were done in a very smart way, not only for shipping, but for assembly. And as I said, the assembly was pretty easy. However, with the assembly, there are some seam lines I'm not a fan of. Let's take a look at those. First is the neck seam, because there are switch out heads we're going to look at in a second. Second seam is here in the tail. Not a huge fan of that. And not really a seam, but the key in the foot on the alien head is not going down all the way like it should. A little frustrating. For switch outs, you have a few different things going on, mainly with the top alien's head. So here's the first one, and this is kind of the Geiger clear dome head you see in a lot of the aliens. And I don't plan on displaying this because I have this in some other pieces, but it's very, very cool. Now he has the inner mouth, or the tongue, the little mouth that shoots out. You have 3 different options. Here's what I call one of the shorter ones. And what's interesting is there's another shorter one just like it. Here's some pictures of both of them together. It is slightly different. I don't understand why they did 2 so similar. And here's what he looks like with the longer tongue. Now here is the other head sculpt, and we're going to look at both of these with paint and sculpt. We're going to look at the close-ups. But something unique going on here, the bottom alien is kind of a combination of both of those heads. And not only that, but so you have 3 of the inner tongues here. You can decide which alien you want which tongue in. So that's kind of a nice switch out option. Let's look at the size of him really quick. So tall, he is just almost 31 inches tall, give or take. Depth is about 35. And probably his widest point is about 20 and a half. For exact dimensions, go to XM Studio's website. Another thing with them is comes with instruction manual, as they all do, which is kind of nice when you rebox things. And it didn't come with an art print. First XM Studios piece I've ever had that did not come with an art print. I'm speculating they forgot mine, because I'm just shocked they would stop doing that, because I'd really love an art print of this. They usually do an art print of the statue in that pose, so that just shocked the hell out of me that there was no art print with this guy. Otherwise, design, everything fit really well. Some of the stuff is a little loose. For example, not where it's going to fall out, and it looks flush, but it's just movable. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But I give them a lot of props for the different switch outs. I think they missed an opportunity with the 2 small tongues, so similar. They missed an opportunity with the seam lines on the head. It doesn't sit flush all the way. The engineering is very smart. But I give the design a W because it's such an elaborate project, a 4 out of 5. I can overlook some of those small things and they may settle over time, like the foot might settle into the key more. Next 2 categories are paint and sculpt. We'll start at the bottom, go to the top, and with the alien body particularly, I'm going to kind of jump all around. There's so much to cover, but I'll try and show the pictures of what I'm talking about as I go. First, let's look at the base. And one other cool thing about design as we're looking at this, I love that the base is the ship, or whatever that is. I like the fact there's no sub-base underneath this. First, I want to talk about the paint on the ship. It's gold. I didn't know there would be this much gold on it. It's gold flecks everywhere. That's not my first choice. I would not have went in this direction. So there's some black and silvers underneath it. However, the sculpt looks good. It really reminds me of the movies, not only the spaceships, but kind of the colonist area where things were at. And I like how the design of it quite a bit. There's holes so you can see into the inside of it. One part I'm not a huge fan of is underneath the alien on the bottom. I don't know if this is supposed to be dirt or mud, but it's not done very well. The paint or the sculpt, not a lot of detail. Another huge Easter egg at the back is actually Jonesy the cat. And not only is the cat at the back here, here's a picture of him with the grate on. The grate is removable. The interesting part about this is that he's at the back of the statue, and I think this is something you display from the side, but it's an Easter egg that's really cool, but it really doesn't need to be there. And as you see, there's the cap, there's not a lot of detail. Seems like an afterthought to me. Looking at the alien, what's interesting, this bottom alien isn't as shiny or slimy, doesn't have as high gloss everywhere as the top alien does. And I don't know if that was intentional or just some QC issues, but it still looks good. I like the coloring they used on the alien. They did a good job of the mix of the greens and blacks and yellows all throughout the skin, different shading in different spots. I think that was very smart. Has your classic alien limbs with the arms here, the different variations of the pattern of the skin. Almost looks like tendons stretching over each other. Then check out, these are what I call as shoulder pads. These are what are not as shiny or slimy, especially right here. Here's some pictures of the tubes coming out of his back, which I never understood that function. They have a little bit of that zebra striping on there. Let's look at his portrait here. First, the inside of the mouth, it's very hard to get pictures of this one because he's so low. You'll see some better pictures of the one up high. But his teeth look good. There's a little bit of a gold paint on his teeth, which we're going to talk more about when we get to the other portraits. Now what's interesting, as you look at his head, as I said, he has kind of a combination of the other 2 heads. So this cylindrical black tubing almost running on the sides of his head is similar to the dome style stuff, or similar to the dome head where he doesn't have, on the main portrait where he doesn't have the dome head now. I know what I want to say, I'm just having trouble saying it. But it looks great. Tons of detail in here, not only on the head, but the neck, the veins, really popping. Here's the alien above, here's his feet, and you can't see the alien below's feet because they don't exist. But I don't know if I like these. The nails are way too big, the way they're sticking out. I've never looked at an alien's foot close before, but to me they should be a little more thin, almost like the hands. And let's jump back to the hands of the below alien, and these look just like the one on the top as well. This is what I'm more used to when I see alien feet. Moving up the body here, again, just some cool detail in the legs, the arms. Take a look at the tail. I think the tail looks great. I like the spikes in it, the segments. Here's the barb, or the pointed part. Let's look at his torso. First, the front here. I love how it's almost like an exoskeleton. The rib bones are on the outside of aliens. They did a great job with this as well. What's interesting, while this is their own interpretation, it's very similar to a lot of other alien pieces. A lot of really cool stuff going on in here. Eventually I will do an extrumble. We'll compare these in detail. Take a look at his back here, not only with the tubes, but again, very nasty, very wicked, very reptilian. If you haven't noticed, a lot more shiny. The colors really pop too, especially under some good lighting. His inner mouth, or his tongue, this looks okay. I think they could have done a lot more detail on this. It's a completely different color, which I don't like. And then the open part of it, it's kind of hard to get a picture here, but it's all glossy on the inside. It's almost like they got lazy with that. And here's the dome head. This looks fantastic. Not only the neck, but the tendons around the mouth, all the different things going on here. It's crazy, sick, insane. Here's some pictures of the actual dome. Now look at his teeth. As Statue Mania, go check her channel out, said during the live unboxing, is he's got a grill. They spray painted his teeth gold on both this portrait and the next one we're going to look at. Why did they do that? Huge miss in my opinion, and the paint is really sloppy on the teeth actually. Let's look at the other portrait. A lot of the neck is very similar, kind of different variations. As you see, this one kind of has like a mohawk, almost a spine on top instead of the dome. And this is the one I'm going to display because I have other ones with domes. A little bit of variation in the tendons and stuff like that. And here's a picture of his teeth, same issues, if not worse on this one. So overall, I definitely think there's some opportunity on this piece, and you got to keep in mind this is their first time doing an alien piece, so I don't know who the art director was, but yeah, it's different. The paint I'm not a fan of. I think the paint on the alien minus his teeth is really good. It's not amazing. The paint on the base I think is lacking, the paint on the alien teeth. So I think at best the paint is a 3 out of 5. It's a very nice. However, they did a phenomenal job sculpting the alien. And even the base, the sculpt is fantastic. I think they could have gone a little bit more into detail like I've seen on some other pieces, but the paint is a 4 out of 5. It's a rail. Now next we talk about value, overall value for the piece. This is 1/3 scale, so much larger. It's a semi-diorama. It's an alien piece. It costs essentially $2,000+ all in. Value on this guy is interesting. I think the value on him is 3 out of 5. It might almost be lower, but with an edition size of 200, that greatly raises the value. So I think the value is good, very nice. But traditionally, all in with some other alien pieces that can match or top this, you're paying anywhere from 10 to 30% less. So I think that's where it hurts the value a little bit. So overall, what do I think of this piece? I think its commanding presence is huge. I think that's the greatest thing it has going for it, the commanding presence. I think this one will get more looks if somebody walked into a room than some of its competitors. But when you get in close, I think the competitors are better. I think the edition size of 200 pieces, which is I know I keep talking about that, it's very small. I think that raises this to the next level because you're not going to see this very often. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this statue a W overall. I think it's a rail, which is not a grail, but something people will really want. So this is what he looks like in my collection right now. And honestly, I don't know what this looks like because I haven't set it up yet, but I have it envisioned in my head, so sometimes it always works a little bit different. As always, guys, please let me know your rating in the comments below. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think is the best alien piece out there. Did this guy take the crown? But otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. We got Rocky dropping tomorrow. Rocky, stay tuned. Until then, take care.